Folks, I have a confession. While those who know me would probably describe me as an X-Men movie apologist who will give even the worst films in this series more than their fair shake, the truth is that 2006's X-Men The Last Stand remains to be one of the worst movie watching experiences I have had in all of my fanboy years. And that's coming from somebody who saw 2015's Fantastic Four movie in theaters. I mean, there's just so many questions I have every single time I watch this movie. Why did they rush the production and sacrifice the inclusion of some of their most popular characters? When in time is this distant future that looks awesome and then turns out to be a danger room simulator? How many plot lines are there in this movie, and which one am I supposed to be paying the most attention to? But folks, the biggest question I'm left with every single time I watch X-Men The Last Stand is, where the hell is Nightcrawler? And I'm not talking about why Alan Cumming didn't return for the third movie, I know that already, but I always wanted to know, how come they never acknowledge that Nightcrawler left the team or explain where he is at all? Well folks, I found the answer and I am going to be revealing it to you in this episode. So let's get into it.
I could take a closer look.
After the release of X2 X-Men United in 2003, audiences were left feeling like the X-Men had finally unlocked all of their potential for the super-powered team-up movie. You gotta keep in mind, at this time, most superhero movies didn't involve a full team of heroes, just kind of one hero. But X-Men was a film that had a team, multiple characters with superpowers that all had their own individual arcs. And then the sequel was able to build off of that while expanding the team by introducing new characters, conflicts, and unlimited potential for what this franchise could be. And by far the most memorable thing to come from X-Men 2 was the introduction of Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler.
But in the Munich circus, I was known as the incredible Nightcrawler.
Yes, save it.
In the opening scene of X2, which we have talked about at length in its own video right here on the channel, audiences were tickled by the visual marvels of teleportation and a blue demon bouncing around the White House in a puff of blue smoke. Throughout the movie, we learn a lot about this fan favorite character and how Kurt differs from the other mutants in the X-Mansion, and how it might set up an interesting personal conflict for this character. And by the end of the film, Nightcrawler has joined the X-Men and seemingly taken his place among his kind, in a job where he can really do some good in the world. But then, 3 years after the introduction of this fan favorite character, when cameras finally started rolling on X-Men The Last Stand, Alan Cumming, or the character of Nightcrawler, were nowhere to be seen. Now, in real life, actor Alan Cumming decided not to return for X-Men The Last Stand because simply, he did not want to commit to sitting in that makeup chair for another year-long production. According to the actor, it took anywhere from 6 to 8 hours a day to apply all of the makeup needed to create the look for Nightcrawler. This involved contacts which skewed his vision, hours and hours in a chair with 4 or 5 people all up in his personal space putting on makeup, and not to mention once the makeup was on, it being so hot that he practically melted under there. Needless to say, he did not want to come back for another film, especially considering the original script for X-Men 3 would have seen him in a much bigger role. In regards to not returning to the film, Alan Cumming had this to say.
I mean, it was just awful.
Now, if that's all there was to this video, then it would already be over and this would feel kind of unsatisfying. But just as making movies requires you to adapt to certain cast and crew not being available, the art of storytelling requires that same level of being able to adapt. Meaning, you can explain why Alan Cumming, the actor, didn't want to come back to the film. But in the movie's universe, how do you explain Nightcrawler not being around? Like, they didn't even mention him, not even his name. You would think that they never met him in the last movie. So, how did they explain Nightcrawler's absence from the movie? Or I guess the better question is, did they explain Nightcrawler's absence from the movie? Well, yes, they did, and where I found the answer is definitely not what you think. See, a big trend in the early 2000s for video game developers was to create tie-in video games to big franchise films to help maximize profits. I mean, they did this with the pretty good Sam Raimi Spider-Man video games, they had that awesome Punisher tie-in video game, if you remember that one. They even had like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings movie tie-in video games. I mean, these things were everywhere. So it made sense for there to be an X-Men 2 tie-in video game, and believe it or not, That video game seems to be the key to unlocking where the hell Nightcrawler is within this lore. Now, if you're looking for a full review of this video game, I'm pretty sure you can find those all over the internet, but if you want my opinion, when I played this game, I thought it was fine. If you're into like PlayStation 2 console games that definitely look and feel as clunky as PlayStation 2 console games, then you'll probably enjoy playing this. Although I did like that you could play as Iceman and you could kind of surf around on his little ice trails. I thought that was hella fun. But let's get back to Nightcrawler. In X2, the movie, Kurt is revealed to be a hardcore Catholic with a strong aversion to violence. He's basically like a pacifist. Now, the X-Men do fight for good, but they fight nonetheless. So, in the game, Alan Cumming reprises his role as Nightcrawler, and you can play as the character, which admittedly is also kind of fun. And in this game, there are multiple cutscenes that kind of unwrap how Nightcrawler is feeling before the end cutscene, which ultimately sees him leaving the X-Men. According to Nightcrawler throughout the game, he's feeling guilt from not being able to save Jason. So much so that he's literally being haunted by like a ghost of Jason. And he's constantly being reminded of his failures while still having to face off and duke it out with bad guys, which we know he's against.
Oh, looks like you can take care of yourself.
I don't know if I'm cut out for this, Logan. It goes against my peaceful nature.
Yeah, sure it does.
So by the end of the game, when the mission is complete and Nightcrawler has helped his team survive another day, he decides that he just wants to move back to Munich, go back to the circus, and retire.
You're leaving.
I am not suited for this life, Professor. I am a simple man.
Our doors are always open to you.
Yes, danke.
So after seeing this, the sour taste that I had in my mouth from all these years thinking that Fox just had the balls to never explain where Nightcrawler went between movie 2 and movie 3 of the X-Men, I suddenly felt a little bit better knowing that somewhere out there within the lore of this universe, there is some explanation for it.
Goodbye.
Auf Wiedersehen, mein Kind.
Of course, earlier this year, Alan Cumming teased in an interview that not only will he be reprising his role as Nightcrawler for Avengers Doomsday, but he might have a little bit of a hand-to-hand combat situation with Mr. Fantastic. I'm glad that Alan Cumming has decided to come back because, to be honest, at the ripe old age of, what, like 60? He's getting up there in age and probably not going to be able to do things like this forever.
Isn't that nuts?
Are you excited?
Yes, / like amazed. It's 23 years since I was a superhero. There I am.
Oh my God. So are you gonna wear all that stuff again?
Yeah, I've had some makeup tests already.
That's a long process.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, actually, what's great about it was like 4.5 to 5 hours before, and now it was 90 minutes.
Let's just hope that it looks good. And if I do get one request for Avengers Doomsday, it's that Nightcrawler can ditch the circus clothes from X2, although I thought those were good, and fully embrace the pointy-shouldered red and black outfit from the comics.
And I go to London on Sunday.
It's starting right away.
It's in pre-production now. It starts shooting quite soon.
Well,
We're so excited to see
I
it.
know.
It's going to be nuts.
I also hope that in Avengers Doomsday they'll put some kind of callback or joke that explains why Nightcrawler just disappeared for all of those years for those of us who didn't play the tie-in video game. But in either case, I'm just happy he's coming back and there will be some closure to his arc in the X-Men series. That's all for today's video, folks, but I want you all to stay safe out there, and I will see you later. Peace.
Class dismissed.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.